Good morning from the United States and from ETSU. We're really excited that you've joined us for this Explore ETSU webinar event. We really hope it's going to be helpful. We're going to cover lots of information, and at the very end, we're going to have some time for some questions. So throughout the presentation, if you want to write down your questions or put them in our Q&A or chat feature, you can do that. And then we'll get to those at the very, very end. So I guess without further ado, we'll jump in. My name's Taylor. I'm the coordinator of international admissions here at ETSU. You may have already received an email from me. So hopefully this kind of helps you put a name with a face and you get to meet me virtually. But I would love to talk to you more after this. I'll mention this at the end of the slide. If you have questions throughout your process of applying and looking for colleges, I'm always available to talk or answer questions for you or your family. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And I'll let Caleb introduce himself.
Yeah, well, greetings, everyone. My name is Caleb Bennett, and I'm the Director of International Enrollment and Services here at ETSU. I have the privilege of working with just our incredible team here that both help students through the admissions process, but also support students on campus. And it's something that we're really, really proud to be able to do. And I'm excited to speak to you this morning. One thing is if you wouldn't mind putting your name, your full name in the chat. Following this webinar, we're going to send out through email an application fee waiver to everyone who attends, but we need you to put your name in the chat. So sometime throughout this webinar, please send your name and we'll make sure you get that email at the conclusion of this event. Taylor, I'll hand it back to you.
Perfect. So yeah, again, we're really excited. Thank you for joining in this morning. We're going to kick off the presentation with a quick video that I think it does a really good job of just showing you our campus, what it looks like here in Tennessee and in the Appalachian Mountains. And then it also talks a little bit about some cool things that we've got going on here on campus. I think we might be having some technical difficulties with the audio. But again, I think the goal of this video is really just to show you what our campus looks like. We're in one of the most beautiful areas in the world, in the Appalachian Mountains. We've got a very good sized campus, lots of really state-of-the-art resources that I'll talk to you a little bit more about later in the presentation. But again, we really just wanted to start the presentation by giving you a glimpse into what it looks like here at ETSU and in Johnson City. And this is just a couple of videos that are a couple of clips that really highlight some of our downtown area, some of the live music that we have. Tennessee is really known for our music. Lots of musicians actually live in Tennessee, and millions of people vacation in this area. So again, it's just one of my favorite parts of the United States and one of the most popular places to visit for many Americans throughout the year. So again, just a quick video kind of showing you everything. Sorry about the audio not being there, but today we're going to talk about really 5 areas. So we're going to start off, talk about some academic programs and mention some highlights with those. We've got over 300 programs, so we're not going to be able to talk about all those, but we'll talk about our most popular with our international students. Then Caleb's going to talk to you a little bit about our community and what it's like to be a student here at ETSU. We'll talk about what it's like to live in Johnson City in East Tennessee, the United States, and some things that we have going on campus. And then we'll start ending the presentation by talking about scholarships and our costs. And then the very last section will tell you how to apply and our admissions requirements. And then we're going to be able to take some questions that you all will be able to put in the chat or the Q&A. So just some context really quickly. ETSU has about 14,000 students. We are a 4-year public university. We're an R2 research university, and we're at the Division I level of the NCAA collegiate athletics. We offer over 300 academic programs, and we're located in Johnson City, Tennessee. And I get asked a lot, like, why would a student choose ETSU? Like, what are our, main things that we're known for? And really, we call that the ETSU advantage. And so it's the things that I've already mentioned, things like our nationally ranked programs, our dream location, the undeniably affordable experience that we can offer our students. And then last but not least, the ETSU home or family feeling that students receive while they're on campus and even as alumni. So like I said, over 300 academic programs. Those are going to be split up between 10 different academic colleges. The thing that we're most known for are our ETSU health programs. We have over 4,000 students who are studying in the health sciences. And those programs fall under 5 different academic colleges that really focus on health sciences. So everything from students who want to become pharmacists, or they want to study in public health and do medical research, or things like speech language pathology or occupational therapy through our clinical and rehabilitative health science school. I'll tell you a little bit more about each individual college on the next few slides, but just know that if you're interested in anything within healthcare or the medical field, we could be a great option for you. We were actually ranked in the top 20 in the United States for our medical professions advisement program. And that really means that we're very good at helping students reach their goals of attending things like a pharmacy school or a physician's assistant school, or really anything that you have to start as an undergraduate, receive your bachelor's degree, and then go on to a professional school. And the way that it works at ETSU, you come in as an undergraduate, you can major in anything that you want. So say that I was someone who wanted to go to pharmacy school. I may major in chemistry. I'll have a chemistry advisor that's really there to help me do everything I need to do to graduate on time. But then I'm also going to get a second advisor that's going to be my medical professions advisor. And they're going to help me do everything I need to do to be competitive for pharmacy school. So things like job shadowing hours, making sure that I have internships, that I'm studying for the PCAT. And then when it comes time to apply to pharmacy school, they can actually help me through that process. And so we've seen a lot of success with this model. It's something that we always want to tell our students about, especially those who are interested in going into medicine. We're also the largest college in nursing in the state of Tennessee and one of the largest in the southeastern United States. We are ranked #1 for our online RN to BSN program, as well as the top online doctor nurse practitioner program in the United States. And that's great for even our international students who are going to be studying on ground here in Johnson City, because those same professors that are teaching our online courses are also teaching our on-ground courses. It is important to note that there is an additional application process. So if you are interested in nursing, normally you would apply to ETSU using the application that we'll talk about at the very end. And then you'll also need to go on and do an additional nursing application. Normally students will do that in their second or third year whenever they've finished their pre-nursing classes. And if you have more questions about that, I'll be happy to talk to you more about it at the end of the presentation, or we can always set up a meeting one-on-one and talk about that process. So we're also known for our public health, our College of Public Health. We're the first accredited public health program in the state of Tennessee. We've got several different programs on the graduate and undergraduate side that fall within our public health program. This is one of the most popular colleges for our international students. Like I said, anything within medical research, it's a great option for any of our international students. And then our College of Clinical and Rehabilitative Health Sciences is jam-packed with different programs that really focus on healthcare, everything from radiologic science through things like social work and nutrition. At the graduate level, things like occupational and physical therapy. We do offer undergraduate research opportunities as well as graduate research opportunities if that's something that you're interested in. We do offer lots of clinical experiences. My favorite example is through our dental hygiene program, where our senior level students, they have to have so many hours before they can graduate of cleaning teeth. And so students and faculty can actually go to Lamb Hall on our campus and get their teeth cleaned for free. And so that's something kind of neat and a really cool kind of clinical experience that those students are able to have on campus. So business, we're also really known for our College of Business. We are ranked in the top 5% of all business schools in the world. We have the AACSB accreditation. I've got all the programs listed there on the screen. We've got lots of different concentrations. I mean, almost anything that you can think of within the field of business, everything from accounting to economics to management, marketing, and supply chain management, and lots of stuff in between and concentrations within all of those. We do have a 100% job placement rate for our master's in accountancy program, and we were the first school in the United States to be accredited by the Digital Marketing Institute, as well as one of my favorite things to tell students about our College of Business outside of just about programs is that they have their own career service center. So they really focus on the enrollment to employment aspect of going to university. And so ETSU has their own career service center that helps all students, but we have one just for our College of Business and Technology. And they do a great job of doing everything from helping you construct an American style resume and preparing for a job interview, all the way through helping do things like college and career fairs if you're interested in going to graduate school, or if you're already in graduate school or you're just looking for a job. They bring lots of different employers to campus to meet with our students. Computing is another thing that we're known for. We are the largest computer science program in the state of Tennessee. We're also the highest ranked computer science school in the state of Tennessee. And they've got brand new state-of-the-art facilities. They've brand new classrooms, state-of-the-art labs. So you're getting the very best of the best when you're coming to study and here at ETSU within the field of computer science. We do have 4 concentrations at the undergraduate level, as well as several concentrations at the graduate level. So I've got all those on the screen, but we got everything from computer science, cybersecurity, information systems, information technology at the undergrad side, and then lots of cool things at on the grad side, including things like AI, machine learning, software engineering, cybersecurity management, as well as things like data analytics. And so if you're interested in computer science or anything within the computing field, we could be a great option for you. Engineering technology is another really popular program with our international students. We have programs at the undergraduate and graduate levels. They're very well established programs. They've been around for decades. At the undergraduate level, we have 4 concentrations that are ABET accredited, as well as other focus areas at the master's level. But we really focus on that real life experience. Our labs are set up to do that. For instance, with the manufacturing program, one of the big projects those students work on is constructing guitars. So everything from learning how to create that guitar on the computer, find materials that you're going to be able to produce those guitars at, and then you actually get to make a real physical guitar that you get to show off. And they do have a Facebook page if you want to see what some of the students are doing and what kind of guitars they're making. And you can learn more about that process as well as our other engineering technology programs. Digital media is one of my favorite programs because it's so neat. If you've seen any of the newer Marvel or Lucasfilm productions, everything from The Mandalorian to Avengers Endgame, The Last Jedi, we've had ETSU graduates actually work on all of those projects. At the undergraduate level, we've got 4 concentrations in animation, video game design, digital effects, and digital visualization. And then at the graduate level, we have a Master's of Digital Media program as well. But yeah, they're very state-of-the-art facilities. They're spending about $40,000 per computer per student. So you're getting to use the same kind of equipment that they would use somewhere like Pixar or Marvel or any of the Hollywood studios. And you can actually see some of our student portfolios at this link down here at the bottom. It's just etsudigitalmedia.com. So if you're interested in something like animation or video game design or any of those programs, definitely check out some of our student portfolios to see what they're doing. And you don't have to have a portfolio to apply for our digital media program. That's a question that I normally get as well. So our Clemmer College of Education and Human Development, ETSU was founded as a teacher college. We have been training students to be teachers for over 100 years. So it's something that we're pretty good at. We actually have a K through 12 lab school, which would be like age 5 through 18, where our students who are studying to be teachers actually get to go into classrooms while they're still students here at ETSU and really get a window into what it's like to be a teacher in the United States and what it's like to set up your own classroom and work with students. Also within the Clemmer College, we have everything from school counseling. So if you're interested in being a counselor, through things like sports, exercise, recreation, and kinesiology. So if you're interested in coaching, or you want to, you're really into athletic training or something like that, then we could be a great option, because you can actually pursue your degree in something like an exercise science or kinesiology. And at the graduate level, we've got lots of other programs within the Clemmer College that really focus on sports as well. If you're someone who's interested in sports, let me know in the chat or the Q&A, and I'll make sure to talk about that more at the end, or we can always set up a time to talk later. Psychology is another program we get asked about a lot. We got 4 concentrations at the undergraduate level. They're all there on the screen, but we are ranked #1 in the United States for our doctoral program, our PhD program in clinical psychology, as well as we're the 4th highest ranked program in our online child psychology program. And so if you're anyone who's interested in studying psychology, we could be a great option at the undergraduate or graduate level. Music is always really interesting for some of our international students, because you can major in music. We've got several different programs within the field of music, and they're all really stellar. So if you're someone who's a classically trained musician and that's something you want to pursue through a college degree, we could be a great fit. Or if you're just someone who wants to, become a pharmacist or a physician's assistant or a doctor or something like that, or really any major at ETSU, you can pursue that major and still be a part of one of our musical ensembles. You can either minor, or you can not major or minor and just agree to be in one of our musical ensembles, and you can qualify for one of our creative arts programs, which I'll talk about in kind of the scholarship section in a little bit more detail. Media and communication is something that's really grown over the last couple of years. We have a special partnership with Adobe, where students actually graduate with an Adobe certification. We're one of the only schools in the world that can offer that. Our facilities are really state of the art for our media and communication students. So you get to learn everything from how to be behind the camera to how to be in front of the camera, how to do post-production kind of stuff, as well as how to create content and everything that comes with that. And then the last one I think I'm going to touch on is our criminal justice. That's another one that's kind of grown in popularity over the last few years. We have bachelor's programs as well as master's programs within criminal justice. If that's something you're interested in, we could be a great option. We really focus on, like many of our other programs, of getting you outside the classroom and really applying what we taught you in the classroom in the real world. So, and then, like I said, we've got over 300 programs. I just mentioned kind of the top 10 or 12 most popular with our international students, but these are all of our undergraduate programs. And then these are going to be all of our graduate programs. So lots and lots of options. If I didn't mention one that you're interested in, it's not because it's not a good program here at ETSU. It may just not be one that we have lots of international students pursuing at the moment. So I'd be happy to talk to you about that and the ins and outs. And with any of our programs, even the ones that I mentioned, if you have questions and you want to talk to an advisor or a program coordinator, you can always let us know, and we can connect you with those people as well, and they can tell you way more about their program than I can. And then these are some of our STEM OPT designated areas as well. I get that question quite a bit. Now I'll turn it over to Caleb.
Thanks, Taylor. Well, we know that when you're choosing a university or an institution to attend, the academics are only a piece of that. And that you're also not only choosing that academic program, but you're choosing a community to be a part of for 2 years, 4 years, 6 years, depending on how far you pursue your degree. And so we want to talk a little bit about the ETSU community. So we talk about ETSU because we're a major university that has a very small college feel. As you can see here on the screen, we have nearly 15,000 students on our campus, but the average class size is only about 20. And that's at the undergraduate level. Once you get further along in your programs or some of our graduate programs, even see smaller class sizes. And that's very important for students because you get the personalized attention from your faculty members, from your classmates, because we don't just want you to be at ETSU, we want you to thrive and succeed on our campus. We currently have students from more than 62 countries on our campus. more than 400 international students from all over the world. And you can see here on the screen, this represents the ETSU international community. We have students studying from all over the world, leading student organizations and being involved in student government and doing a lot of incredible things all over our campus. And here's just a brief highlight from one of our new students. This is Dia. Dia is from India, grew up in Botswana, a new student on our campus. And I just want to introduce her. She's one of our international ambassadors, and she recorded a brief video for us today that we're going to share.
Hey everybody, I'm Dia Tapanari. I am a freshman student here at ETSU and I am from India, but I was born and brought up in Botswana. So I'd like to share some of my favorite things about ETSU so far. And I'd say one of my most favorite things about ETSU was the international orientation. I had the best leaders and we did a lot of events and it was very informative as an international student. I was very unsure about a few things, but the international orientation definitely cleared it up for me. And one piece of advice that I'd like to pass on to you guys is that don't be shy and ask questions when you're not sure about things. The people here are great, they're all very helpful, so don't be shy. And always get into groups, make friends, and yeah. And if you do have any questions regarding the majors or anything, the website is free to access and there's a lot of information down there. And if you're unsure even after going to the website, please do email or text our faculty members. If you have any questions for any faculty members, please do email them or text them and we will get back to you. And thank you so much for joining our webinar today. We hope to see you on campus.
Awesome. Well, like I said, that is Dia. She's just been an incredible member of our ETSU community over the last few months. Dia is also an ambassador, so we're going to have some online opportunities for you to connect with her, to ask her questions directly, and hear more of her story at ETSU. But as I referenced earlier, we want you to thrive and succeed on our campus. And so we have a lot of different resources to help you through that process. And so our career services office is here to help you look for CPT and OPT opportunities to help you find a career after graduation. We have a couple different tools to do that. I'll talk about InterStride in a moment, but Handshake is another tool that we use to help students find positions, whether it's a part-time position on campus during your study, or maybe after you graduate, because we know that you're looking for that long-term career. It's not just about your education, but it's you working towards that career. We have tutoring service and free counseling services, all to support you as a student while you live, work, and play on the ETSU campus. And so I just referenced InterStride. We've partnered with InterStride. This is a company that was actually created by an international student who studied in the US, originally from Nepal. InterStride is a tool that we've invested in to help students find careers after graduation. University Career Services uses InterStride to work one-on-one with our international students to help them apply for jobs, to whether that's located here in Johnson City, Tennessee, or anywhere else around the country or even the world. And so this is just a great tool that we highlight because it's a huge resource for our students on campus. The Ada Ernest International House. And so you saw that in the background of Dia's video, but this is the International House on campus. That's where my office and Taylor's office is located. But this is a one-stop shop for international students, for recruitment, admissions, student advising, and student success. All of our team is there to help you be successful, not just in coming to ETSU, but being on campus, thriving on campus, whether you have immigration-related questions or questions about student organizations, or maybe you just need a place to come and chill and hang out. This is the place for you. We have study space, hangout space. We have weekly coffee hours in the Ada Ernest House. We have cookouts outside. We're having a very American tailgate experience in a few weeks. But the Ada Ernest House is really a one-stop shop of support for international students at ETSU. At ETSU, we're all about going beyond the classroom. So we're not just about you having a great experience inside the classroom, which is certainly important. Well, we want to help you go beyond, go outside the classroom through involvement in student organizations, through community service, and many different other avenues. But we have over 250 different student organizations on campus. You'll see some examples there. We have academic groups, intramurals, student government, faith-based groups, fraternity and sorority life, multicultural groups. We have an Asian student organization. We have the Shades of Africa student organization. We have dozens of organizations on campus that our international students are involved in. And also students can create their own groups if ETSU does not currently have a student organization that fits your interest. But with over 250, I'm confident that there will be some great options for you. And just some other experiences on campus. I mean, there is so much going on our campus throughout the entire year. You'll see in different places a picture of our Pride Walk, where you see there in the middle of the girls painting the Pride Walk. It's a tradition on campus. We bring in major artists to campus, musicians that you've probably heard of come to our campus, one in the spring, one in the fall. It's a lot going on. We have athletics, football games, soccer games, baseball games. There's so much going on. We really have that big school experience, all that you could want outside of the classroom. Perhaps you enjoy playing sports, but maybe you're not quite at that Division I level, which I'll talk about in a minute. But we have over 400 intramural teams on our campus. Basketball, soccer, flag football, table tennis, water polo, even board games. These are another opportunity to be involved on our campus. It was one of my most exciting things when I was on a college campus was intramural sports. It's a lot of fun, and it just adds to the campus life. It adds to that experience that's beyond the classroom. But we do play at the Division I level. And so what that means for our college athletics is that we play at the highest level. You'll see some of the pictures of our different sports teams there. And events are free for students. And so you students can go and enjoy these games on the weekends or in the evenings. It's a lot of fun. I can't encourage you enough to attend some of these events when you're here on campus. And I'm going to turn it back to Taylor to talk a little bit about Johnson City, Tennessee.
Yeah, so we've really covered kind of two areas of the ETSU advantage. The third area that we highlight is our location, and that's really one of our selling points. So we're located in the state of Tennessee. If you're looking at the map of the United States, we're going to be located down here in the Southeast region in Tennessee. It's a great place to live. We do get 4 seasons, which is something that I like because the summers are pretty mild normally, low 30s. As the fall, the kind of the season that we're going into now, we have lots of trees in the area, and those trees, their leaves change colors, and you can kind of see in these pictures here. And it's just a really beautiful, it's one of the most beautiful areas in the country, especially in the fall. That's why so many people vacation in this area in the fall. But still the climate's pretty mild in the fall, anywhere from mid to high 20s. And then once we get into the winter, they're pretty mild. Normally, they can get down into the teens or even into the single digits, but it's normally not for very long. We get 1 or 2 snow showers, enough to be able to say that you've seen snow, and then things warm back up in the spring and we get back into the 20s. So like I said, it's a pretty nice climate because you get 4 seasons. Within the state of Tennessee, we're going to be up here in the northeast section in the Appalachian Highlands. You can kind of see some pictures of downtown Johnson City. We are in the heart of the Appalachian Highlands, right in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains. So that means there's lots of outdoor activities to do, lots of hiking trails. So if you're someone who likes to get out and hike or bike or do any kind of like outdoor stuff, we're a great place to be. Johnson City itself is home to about 70,000 people. Which is a good size because it's not too big, but it's still big enough where we have lots of stuff to do. So things like movie theaters and bowling alleys, the mall, or local restaurants and parks that lots of our students like to go to after class or on the weekends just to hang out. There are plenty of spots to do that. around the city. And then we're right down the road from the Great Smoky Mountain National Park, which is one of the most visited national parks in the United States, or it is the most visited national park in the United States. So like I said, or keep saying, millions of Americans vacation in this area, which make it a really fun place to go to school. One of the other kind of positives of somewhere like Johnson City, or going to school somewhere like Johnson City, our cost of living is very low compared to other bigger cities throughout the United States. And it's also a very safe community compared to some of those bigger cities in the United States. And so that's something that I was a student at ETSU, and that's something that my family kind of liked, that I was in an area that was pretty safe. And so, yeah. And like I said, lots of outdoor activities. Any of these, if you want to look up on Instagram or Google, things like the Appalachian Trail, any of our lakes and rivers, there's lots of opportunity to just get out and swim, or if you want to hang out by a body of water, there are lots of places to do that around the city too. And then within kind of the East Tennessee region, there's many things that you can do on the weekends or after class. Everything from going skiing and snowboarding in the wintertime. We've got ski slopes about 45 minutes from our campus. To things like Bristol Motor Speedway. If you've ever heard of NASCAR, it's one of the most popular NASCAR tracks in the United States. It's about 20 minutes from our campus. We've also got the largest private residence in the entire United States, about an hour from our campus. That's the Biltmore House. So that's something that you can definitely look up on Instagram or TikTok if you have TikTok. And then we've also got the birthplace of country music that's about 30 minutes from our campus as well. Our campus itself, I call it it's a 15-minute walking campus. You can get from one side to the other in about 15 minutes. And that's great because regardless of where you're living at on campus, you're going to be able to get to class on time. We've also got 5 miles of hiking and biking trails, which is actually about 8 kilometers of hiking and biking trails if you're not familiar with miles. But if you want to see our campus, I know that the video that we showed at the very beginning showed you a few glimpses, but we do have a full tour on our YouTube channel. It's just at ETSU International, or we have a virtual tour that you can do. It's a map, and you can click on the different buildings and read about them, or some of them will have videos that you can watch. And that's at etsu.university-tour.com down here on the right. And so let us know if you follow us on Instagram too. Coming up, more than likely in November, we'll do Tour Tuesday, where we'll show you different parts of campus every Tuesday. So what's special about our campus? We've got lots of state-of-the-art academic facilities. Over the last 3 years, we've done about $250 million in construction. So lots of new buildings, lots of very recently renovated buildings. And so over the next few slides, I'm just going to kind of briefly go through some of those and tell you a little bit. So our DP Culp Student Center, it's really like our living room of campus. It's got lots of fun areas for students to hang out in. Everything from our cave, which when they were constructing the building, they hit rock, and instead of removing that rock, they decided to put the building up around it. And so now we have this huge room on the bottom floor that we call the cave. That's really just it's an event space. It's a space for students to hang out and eat lunch or dinner, or just do homework. And it's got a huge TV screen that you can kind of see there. That they do everything from our esports productions. So our esports arena is right outside the cave. And they broadcast all of that there in the cave, to things like March Madness, the NCAA basketball tournament that happens every March. They also broadcast that in there. And so it's just a really cool place. We've also got all of our most of our chain dining restaurants, everything from Chick-fil-A to Starbucks to Taco Bell, you can find in there, as well as our all-you-can-eat dining hall. And then it also has things like our a radio station that has glass walls that you can walk by and actually see them producing, to our big amphitheater or auditorium, as well as the amphitheater outside. And then right outside the Culp, we have the University Commons. It's complete with everything like a slide, where you can actually slide anytime throughout the day, or our little putting green, that if you're just trying to kill some time, or you want to practice putting, then it's an easy place to go on campus and do that. It's also got King's Corner Bakery, which if you're looking for a cup of coffee or some tea or a pastry. It's a great place to grab breakfast or a snack throughout the day, or just a little bit of coffee whenever you need it. We've been really excited about our new Martin Center for the Arts. It's complete with a 1,200 seat auditorium, a black box theater, as well as its own recital hall, costume shop, and scene shop. And so obviously we have our own student-led productions there, but we also have real Broadway plays that tour throughout the United States. They stop here at the Martin Center. And so our students can actually go and experience a real life Broadway play. They don't have to go to New York to do that. They can do it here in Johnson City. We also have a really nice shared library. It's open normally 24/7, and students can go and study there. Everything from, like, if your laptop messes up and you need to borrow one while yours is being repaired, you can rent a laptop from our library. Our Center for Academic Achievement is here. That's our free tutoring service on campus. So if you're struggling with one of your classes, you can go there and find help, as well as lots and lots of study space. Our CPA just went under a new renovation, and I actually don't have any of the pictures from its new renovation. So some of these are the older pictures, but lots of workout equipment. There are 4 basketball courts, an Olympic-sized swimming pool, as well as its own class, like activity classes. So everything from yoga, ballroom dancing, to things like martial arts and boxing. You can do all those for free, as well as many more through our Center for Physical Activity. And this is included for all of our students. So you just have to show your ID or swipe your ID when you go in, and you get to go in for free. We got a pretty new football stadium. That's another really cool experience, especially for our international students to go. If you've never seen an American football game, they're really fun. It's a really big deal in the United States, football, in the fall season. And so, like Caleb said, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have our own tailgate for international students. So we'll get to show them how to do that. And then they get to go into the game and really hang out and experience everything that goes along with that. We've got lots of outdoor activities. I mentioned all the 8 kilometers of hiking and biking trails on campus, but we've also got our own disc golf course, as well as our own outdoor adventure course. You can kind of see down here that different student organizations or classes can use. And then I always get asked about safety, especially from parents. And so I just wanted to touch on it briefly. That is one of the, ETSU is a very safe area, as well as Johnson City. That's one of the benefits of living in a city like Johnson City. It's a little smaller. It's safe. We have professional law enforcement that patrol our campus. So Johnson City has its own police force that help keep things safe. But then we've also got our own professional law enforcement just here on campus that patrol 24/7. Campus is always very well lit. So if you're out walking at nighttime, everything is very well lighted. And then we also have a system called Gold Alert, where parents can sign up for that. So if any emergencies happen on campus, you'll immediately get notified. One of the coolest services that our campus safety offers is called Safe Voyage. So say you were leaving somewhere like the library, it was late at night, you wanted to walk back to your residence hall, but you didn't feel completely comfortable doing that. You can get on our ETSU app, request a Safe Voyage, and then one of our officers can actually walk you back to your residence hall. And then the last thing I'll talk about, there's a picture of a dog on the screen, and that is Pepper. She is our campus safety dog, and she is one of the most popular people on our campus. You can actually follow her. She has her own Instagram. She's got thousands of followers. So she's always a really big hit. She goes to many different events around campus. And it's always a big deal if you can get a picture with Pepper. So housing, that's something really important. We have 10 different residence halls on campus. There are 5 different styles, just depending on what kind of budget you have or what kind of amenities that you want in your room. There'll be floor plans, video tours, all of that you can see on our website. It's just etsu.edu/housing. We do offer living and learning communities. We've got several different living and learning communities depending on what program you're majoring in or what interest area you're interested in. And so all living and learning community is if you want to be in one of those, we will pair you with students who are also majoring in a similar field. Our most popular living and learning community is our pre-health living and learning community. And that's where students who are going to go into the medical field, so everything from nursing to becoming a medical doctor or a physical therapist, they all live in the same residence hall. And it makes it a really easy kind of connection to find other people who are studying in the same area or who are taking the same classes as you. And if you live on campus, you do have to have a meal plan. Your meal plan works obviously at our on-campus dining hall, but also all the chain restaurants that are listed on the screen. So if you want to go by and get a Subway sandwich or a cup of coffee from Starbucks, you can use your student ID and your meal plan to purchase that. And so now I'm going to talk about kind of the last area, the ETSU Advantage. So we talked about the location, our programs, the community that we can offer. And then the last and maybe one of the most important things is the affordability. We offer lots of scholarships for international students. Last year, we offered over $3 million to international students through our scholarship programs. One of the most popular is our International Merit Scholarships. They kind of fall into this table here. If you're an undergraduate student, there's a 3.0 GPA requirement for grad and undergraduate students to qualify for the International Merit. If you have that 3.0, you're going to qualify for the Blue Scholarship that's worth $5,000. If you have the 3.5 or higher, you could qualify for up to $7,000 through our Gold Scholarship. And then if you're a really top-notch student, you're a 3.75 or higher, then you could qualify for that Elite Scholarship that's worth $9,000. Now, if you're a graduate student or someone who's applying to one of our master's or doctoral programs, then the master students, if you have a 3.0 or higher, you'll qualify for $5,000. And for you doctoral students, you'll qualify for $9,000 or higher or more. And then our creative arts program, I kind of mentioned it when I was talking about our music programs. And they're about 17 or 18 programs that fall under what we consider creative arts. Everything from music and art and design to other things like speech and debate, creative writing, graphic design. And in some cases, you have to major or minor in one of those programs. Like with graphic design, you would need to minor in graphic design. But in other cases, like if you wanted to write for our student newspaper, you wouldn't have to major in journalism, but you could still write for our student newspaper. Or music, like I mentioned earlier, you don't have to major or minor in music, but you can be in one of our musical ensembles and qualify for that creative arts scholarship. It's worth a little over $19,000 per year. It actually gets students down to the in-state rate for tuition. And then for graduate students, we do offer graduate assistantships and tuition scholarships. Those are normally very competitive for students. And so those really go along with what program that you're applying for. Not all programs will be able to offer you a graduate assistantship. On-campus employment is another area that I like to mention because it's something that you can stack on top of your scholarships. So if students are working about 20 hours per week, you can only work up to 20 hours in the United States. But if you're working 20 hours per week at something like $10 an hour, which is in most cases like the minimum wage on campus, you're going to earn up to about $6,000 per year. You can work anywhere on campus, places like Sodexo, which is our food services company, through our campus library or our Center for Physical Activity, and have a part-time job. And like I said, you'll be able to stack that money on top of your scholarships. So this is just an example of undergraduate cost. These numbers are based on last year. So these have went up since then just a little bit. And we can talk to you or send you the most current tuition numbers if you're interested. And they'll also be located on our website. But tuition is about $28,000 or $29,000 for an undergrad student. If you have a meal plan, you're living on campus, cost before funding is about $36,000 or $37,000. But if you're receiving that Blue Scholarship and you're working on campus 20 hours per week, then your estimated cost per year is about $25,000 or $26,000 per year. Another example would be if you were receiving that, this says creative arts, but it's a typo. Say you were receiving that Gold Scholarship. as well as working on campus, then your estimated cost per year is about $23,000 per year. And so I've got one more example for grad students. With a merit scholarship, you're working on campus, then you're going to get down to about 24,000. And really the reason I wanted to show you some of these examples is just so you can see that full cost, and then you can start putting together the numbers of like where you're going to live at, how much that costs for the residence hall, or if you're living off campus, and then that meal plan. And then you can take those numbers and use our cost estimator and get a really great idea of how much it's going to cost you to attend ETSU. And so this cost estimator, it's free to use. You put in how many hours you're taking. You can even click what courses you want to take if you have an idea of that, and then input where you're going to live, your meal plan, and then it has a spot where you can put financial aid and scholarships. So if you know what kind of merit scholarship you're receiving, you can go ahead and put it in there. And then it will even let you break it down into a payment plan, so you can see exactly what your payments would be each time that you need to make a payment. And it actually clicked on it. But yeah, it's really, really easy to use, and I really encourage you to do that. Sorry about that. So last section, before we get to the questions and answers, we just wanted to briefly kind of go over our admissions requirements, how to apply. If you are an undergraduate student, there is a $35 application fee. You can apply online for undergrad or graduate program. You just need to go to etsu.edu/apply. And it's going to take you about 10 to 15 minutes to fill out the application. We do have a minimum requirement of a 2.3 on the 4.0 US scale. And then we kind of have a sliding scale for transfer students. So you would be a transfer student if you've completed any kind of college or university work prior to applying to ETSU. And then once you've applied, we normally takes 1 to 2 weeks to get you a decision back. And then you will need to provide your English proficiency scores if you're not a country that we exempt, which I'll show you on the next couple of slides. We'll need transcripts from all prior universities if you are a transfer student. If you're applying as a first-time freshman, then we'll need your high school to send us. They can email us a copy of your transcripts. And as long as your transcripts are in English, we should be able to convert your grades into a US GPA. So that's not something that you have to pay for. And that's at the graduate and undergraduate level. And then we'll also need a picture of your passport, and you can just take a picture of that and email it directly to us. And that's all we'll need. And I'm missing a slide for some reason, but for the graduate students, very similar. It is a $65 application fee. You would need a 3.0 GPA to qualify. Same supporting documents, your English proficiency, transcripts from all prior universities. And then the only other additional things would be like a statement of purpose, or why you want to pursue the program that you're applying for, and then 3 letters of recommendation. But those 2 things are only for our graduate applicants. And so, like Caleb mentioned at the very beginning, since you are attending this webinar, this Explore ETSU event, you are going to be able to apply for free. And so you can direct your message to me or Caleb. If you'll just let us know your name in the chat, then we'll know to go back. You don't have to send us your email. We should already have that as long as you put the name that you registered for the webinar with. And then to apply, once you receive that fee waiver code, you can go to etsu.edu/apply. And then I mentioned the English proficiency. If your country is listed over here on the right, then you do not have to send us English proficiency scores. These scores are for undergraduate students. For our graduate students, the requirements are a little bit higher. We can send you information on that as a follow-up to this presentation. And this is my last slide. So if you want to connect with us, you can always send us a WhatsApp message. You should have my WhatsApp number through the invitation to this webinar. You'll also get it in the follow-up email from me. You can always email us at international@etsu.edu. Or if you want to follow us, if you're someone who doesn't like to check email, our Instagram is the easiest way to stay up to date with all things ETSU. So it's just at ETSU International. It's right here on the middle of the screen. So anything like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, those are really easy ways to stay up to date with all things ETSU. So I guess with that, that's kind of the conclusion of the presentation. We can now open it up to the questions. I've seen lots and lots of questions coming into the chat. I think Kayla's been answering some of those. So we will definitely do our best to get to some of those. So I see one question that I don't think has been answered yet. And this person asks, can they apply directly for PhD programs with only a bachelor's degree? And the answer to that is really, it depends on the program. So some programs you can apply directly for a PhD with a bachelor's, but not all. Some will require a master's degree. It really varies. I would say in a lot of cases, you can apply with just a bachelor's degree. But again, you definitely want to check with your program. If it's a program at ETSU, we can put you in contact with that program coordinator, or they may even have it listed on their website if that's easier for you to look up. But great question. Any other questions? Yeah, okay. I see some more coming in. Does computer science offer AI specialization for undergraduate students, or is it only for those going to their master's? And the focus, really the only concentration area that we have in AI is at the master's level, but at the undergraduate level, we do have things like our robotics club. There are different student organizations that's one of their focuses. But mostly our undergraduate programs are really foundational. They're really for students who are wanting to get good general degrees in any of those 4 areas that I mentioned, like the computer science, cybersecurity, information systems, or information technology. And then what extracurricular activities do we look for other than grades? And do you also require us to write an essay? Great question. And so at ETSU, for admissions purposes, on the undergraduate side, we're really just looking at your academic coursework. There are scholarships that you can apply for where we'll look at your extracurricular activities. So things like our honors college scholarships that I didn't mention in the presentation, but we will send you information about. They will definitely look at your extracurricular activities. And they're really looking for a well-rounded student, someone who's been a leader in a student organization or in their community, or they can just really show a passion that they have followed and really developed. And then for our graduate students, you will have to write a short kind of personal statement, just talking about why you want to pursue the program that you're applying for. And then some of our programs, the more competitive programs, do have other requirements that you'll have to meet. All those will be listed on our website. We'll also send you links for that stuff too, so you can check that out and see if there are any additional requirements other than what I mentioned in the presentation. I saw a question, do you offer conditional admission of GPA that's less than what we stated? So for undergraduate students, you would need a 2.3 GPA. And for our graduate students, you need at least a 3.0 GPA. Those are our minimum. If you don't meet the minimum criteria, unfortunately, we can't, you would not be admissible to ETSU. Saw a question, tuition costs for Masters of Computer Science. So great question. That estimator tool that I mentioned is really useful. It's just etsu.edu/estimator. And you can go to that website, put in how many hours you want to take. You can select those computer classes, and it will give you a really a pretty accurate breakdown of what it would cost to attend ETSU. But generally speaking, it's about $26,000 per year for a graduate program at ETSU. That's just tuition. But remember, most of our students will qualify for our $5,000 level International Merit Scholarship. So that brings it down a little bit. And then there are other scholarships that you can apply for, as well as your on-campus employment that will help kind of cover some of those costs as well. Yeah, I'm seeing lots of questions. Great questions. Yeah, so I saw a question about a GA, and this student has been admitted for a program that doesn't offer graduate assistantships. And so like I mentioned in the presentations, or in the presentation, graduate assistantships can be really competitive. And some programs, they're built into the course schedule and kind of the program of study. So things like our chemistry program, almost all of those students have graduate assistantships, because within that GA, you're working to do research with faculty members, and it really kind of helps enhance your academic program. But in other cases, there's not a need for a graduate assistantship, or there's just not one built into that program of study. And so unfortunately, there wouldn't be one available. There are a small number of non-academic graduate assistantships on campus. But again, those are really competitive because there are so few. I saw a question about our Bachelor's of Science in Nursing. One student asked if they can enroll directly into our BSN program. And great question. So the way that works, a student would, if they don't have any previous, like a nursing degree or anything like that, they can come in as a first-time freshman with just a high school degree. They would take about 2 years of what we consider pre-nursing classes. So some of your general education courses, things like some of the sciences that you would need to pass in order to qualify for our nursing program. And so you got 2 years of pre-nursing, you apply into the College of Nursing. If you're admitted, then you've got about 2 or 2.5 years of full-on nursing classes, and then you would graduate with your BSN. I hope that answers your question. So our question, can working on campus as an international student pay all my bills at ETSU? Good question. Unfortunately, it wouldn't. It would really depend on your scholarship. So the scholarship that you're receiving, but it's likely that you won't be able to cover the entire cost by just working on campus. And that includes things like a graduate assistantship. So even if you have your GA, that covers your tuition portion, but then you still need to budget things like your housing, money for food, money for transportation, money for school supplies, things that your graduate assistantship is not going to cover. Your GA may give you a small stipend, but it's very unlikely that you would be able to find somewhere to live, have money for food, money for books, just based on that graduate assistantship, or just through that on-campus job. Like if you're working in our campus gym or something like that, it's very unlikely you would make enough money to be able to cover everything. But you could cover a lot of the cost, just not all of it. And again, that cost estimator tool would be a really good option. But if you're a graduate student, remember, if you're not living on campus, you still want to budget into your own personal budget where you're going to live, and food and all of that stuff that goes with just living somewhere on your own. Yeah, I saw someone asked to be added to an ETSU group. So there are a couple options. Our Instagram's a really easy way to stay up to date now. So we send all of our updates out through Instagram. We will also have something in the next couple of weeks that you're going to be able to have access to, that we'll send you an email about, and we'll post it on our Instagram as well, where you'll be able to talk to our own current international ambassadors. So they're current students you're going to be able to talk to. You can ask their opinions. We also have student groups within the software that you're going to be able to use. So you can join and talk to other groups from any region around the world. And so that's a great way to kind of stay up to date and get questions answered that you might have after the presentation. I saw a question about internships being offered. Yeah, so one of ETSU's mottos is go beyond the classroom. We, like Caleb said, we know that a lot of important things happen inside the classroom. You learn a lot of information while you're in class, but to really understand and kind of comprehend some of that information, it really helps to get outside the classroom, get your hands, do something really hands-on, be able to apply some of the information that you learned. And so we really encourage students to take internships. Some of our programs will require internships, and they built those into their programs of study. But even for those that haven't, we'll work with you and help you find those internships. And so that's something that we're really excited about. It's something that we really push and encourage a lot of our students to do. Yeah, I saw a question about reference letters. And so that would be for our undergraduate students. You don't have to have reference letters. For our graduate students, you do. And so at the very end of the application, you'll be able to list at least 3 recommenders. And so the way that it works, the people that you've listed, they'll receive an email from us that gives them instructions on how to fill out their recommendation. And then once they've filled that out, you should be notified, and we'll also receive the recommendation letter. And then once that's complete, it should show up on your checklist through the application portal. And then we'll be able to complete our processing and review, and then you should be notified. So that's kind of a quick summation of how that works. I see a few different questions about when programs will open. So for undergraduate students, our application is open for spring 2024 as well as fall 2024. You can go ahead and apply for those right now. Like, we'll send you the link and send you the application fee waiver. But then for our graduate students, if you're applying for spring 2024, some of those deadlines may have already passed. I know October 1st is our next big deadline, but if you're applying for fall 2024, the application should be open. The deadlines really depend on the program. Some of those will have a deadline of February. Others may not have a deadline until May. And so definitely get on our website. You can Google ETSU graduate programs, or if you want to send me a direct message on WhatsApp, we can also send you a link, and that way you can look it up and look at your specific program. But right now I don't have access to that. Ooh, I saw a great question. Is it possible to email my documents instead of sending it through something like DHL? The answer is yes. If you're an undergraduate student, your transcripts will have to come from your school's email account. So you'll need to have a faculty member at your high school or the high school that you graduated from send us a transcript. We can accept it that way. If you're a graduate student or someone applying for a master's or doctoral program, you can upload an unofficial transcript in the application portal. So undergrad students will need the official that can be emailed though from your school. And then for graduate students, you can upload that material in the application portal. Yeah, great questions. Any other questions? Oh, there's a few more that came in. Do we accept an unofficial WES report? Great question. We do not. So you would need to have WES send us that report directly from them in order for us to be able to take it and base an admissions decision off of that. When is the best time to apply and access scholarships, spring or fall? And so that really depends on your program. And if you're at the undergraduate or graduate level, generally speaking, for international students, the merit scholarship is going to be available for spring or fall. Things like our creative arts scholarship, those are going to be available for spring or fall. But then things like our honor scholarships, we have a university scholarship application where you can apply for endowed scholarships. Those will only be available for the fall. But yeah, I mean, it really depends on the program. I would say if you're ready and want to come in the spring, then I would go ahead and apply and try to get here as early as possible. But if you want some more time to apply for some extra scholarships, then I would wait for next August. So you could apply now and have plenty of time to fill out those scholarship applications and kind of get everything planned out and thought through before you to come to school. So it really just depends on you and your own specific situation.
Thank you all so much. It's been awesome to get to answer many of your questions. I know there's still a few outstanding questions that we're getting to, but we're going to follow up after this event with an email for those of you that shared your name in the chat. We'll make sure that you get the application fee waivers that we discussed. We're also going to send some follow-up information with some of these questions to provide some more clarification. But you can always contact us via email at international@etsu.edu, or WhatsApp is 423-439-6699. We're looking forward to talking to you again. You can always contact us, and there will be additional webinars in the coming months should you have follow-up questions or want to hear from us again. We look forward to seeing you on campus, hopefully very, very soon. Taylor, I don't know if you have anything else.
Yeah, I just echo what Caleb said. Thank you for joining us today. I hope this was helpful. I know it was a lot of information. I know that you still got lots of questions. Definitely send us a WhatsApp message. You've got my email. You have my WhatsApp. So just let us know how we can help and what we can do to serve you, and we'll be happy to do what we can.
Have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Bye-bye.